Hey gals, welcome back to the Coach Here podcast. This is Abigail,
And I'm Terry.
and today we are going to be talking about life transitions and the difficulties and struggles that are involved with that. So let's just get right into it.
So, what are some things when you think about life transitions, when you think about moving from one thing to another, moving from high school to college or college to work or, high school to work, moving apartments and jobs and moving from home to, there's so many different kinds of transitions. And when you think about those different transitions, what comes to your mind?
I think difficulty, uncomfortability, fruitful, adventurous.
One of the things I think people don't necessarily realize is fear is a bigger motivator than joy. Every transition, every change that we ever go through has both to it. It has the unknown, and it has the things we're striving for. A change might be moving away from something, but we're also moving towards something else. And so if we only look at it from one side, and like I said, fear is a bigger motivator, so it's easy to look at change as fearful. I don't know what's going to happen, all of that stuff. So that's kind of where I think most people get bogged down in changes, is looking at it from the fearful side primarily.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that that's where my head goes with it. Like initially, oh, things are changing. Like what should I be, like what bad things should I be prepared for?
Right. Bad. And you said it, bad. What am I afraid might happen?
Yeah.
And so when you just went, because you just went through a big change, you moved from the home with your family, with your parents and your sister, to your own place. What did that feel like?
That with also like a mix of everything else going on, because I also have like my job is different than it used to be, and I'm in a new relationship. And so with that specifically, it was like really uncomfortable because my day-to-day has completely changed. Like my body is getting used to the fact that, hey, I'm waking up at a different time. I'm going to sleep at a different time. I'm talking to new people. I'm studying new things. And it's like this entire new life that, although it's good, it's like there's a lot of things that I'm like, I need to be aware of. Am I missing something? It's just it's a whole bag.
So one of the things people do is they focus just on the negative, or they focus on one side of it. Some people are the opposite. Some people just focus on the positive. Yes, I'm moving and all these great things are going to happen, and they're not prepared for any of the difficulties. They haven't prepared themselves for, but what is going to happen when the water doesn't turn on, or there's different things that can happen. So looking and realizing though there's two sides to every coin, so to speak. Now in your apartment, let's just stick with that one for right now.
Okay.
What has been a big thing that you weren't expecting in a negative sort of way?
Okay, the random payments that you have to make, like these hundreds of dollars of deposits to start, utilities, all these just random things.
So those were things you weren't even planning for. You didn't even worry about ahead of time. It was just things that, yeah, can I turn on the electricity? Well, yeah, it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
And that was a surprise.
Yeah. Well, I knew you had to pay utilities. I didn't realize it cost so much money to start them up. And that was a surprise. Also, having to take out the trash.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I used to do that sometimes at my house, but my dad was the one who knew what day to take out the trash, what to put in there, what not to put in there. And all of this, all these things that I now am responsible for, they're good, but they're surprising because I'm there's so much to keep track of, and I'm worried on the negative side of things that I'm gonna forget something, forget to pay a bill, and it's actually just it is really complicated.
Well, it means going back and thinking, okay, I was living at home with my mom and my dad, and so you've got to think about, okay, now I'm living alone and I'm totally responsible. Whoever was doing those things like paying the bills, taking out the
Yeah.
trash, you now have to be responsible for those things. And that's just one of the things we've got to ask ourselves when there's a change coming up. What new things am I going to have to be responsible for?
Yeah. Also, okay, I just want to say, this is probably going to be so bad. She's fine because she can handle it. But my hamster, I like totally forgot to feed her yesterday.
Oh,
Okay, but hamsters, you can. Okay, I feed her every day. She lives lavishly. Okay, she has a
it's a
huge.
good thing you don't have any
cage.
kids right now.
I know. Well, then I was like, because what had ended up happening was I didn't stay over at my house that night, and I was like, the next morning I was like, oh wait, I actually have a hamster that I have to take care of. And it's fine because you don't like I don't technically have to feed her every day. Like I could feed her once every like 2 days, but I was like that's her schedule. That's the schedule that I made in my head to keep and I didn't keep it. So, I feel bad for her, but she had water. So, yeah. But anyways, it's like those things that there's so much more to keep track of than before
Right.
because my responsibilities the list was shorter.
What are some advantages? What are some of the positives now of that change?
Okay, so the positive is definitely like the freedom of choice. I think when you take on responsibility, you then have the right to choose. And so I get to choose where I want to live. I get to choose what goes in there. I get to choose when I come and when I go. Like, I don't have a curfew anymore. And so, I mean, that's like the positive is like you get this choice, and how you use it is however you use it.
You have more freedom.
Yeah. So I think that's like the best thing as of right now.
Well, and you can see that playing out in all the other decisions and the other choices that we've made. But I think one of the things that's most important to realize is just how much we often look at one side and not the other. And everything, you got to ask yourself, what are the two sides to this coin? What are going to be some of the advantages to moving out or getting this different job, or picking a college, or there's so many different things that we, especially people in their, late teens, early 20s are having to make so many decisions.
Yeah.
And how do you make the decision? Well, I think part of the way of making a decision is to look at both sides of that coin.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean there's positives and negatives in like whatever you do. Like for my apartment, there like right now I can't wash my clothes there. And so I have to haul my laundry back and forth between either my parents' place or my boyfriend's place right now. And like I think
There are laundromats, right, still?
there are still. Girl, I'm not paying for that. I know it's like 50 cents, but no thank you. But yeah, so like there's positives, negatives, and neutrals, like in whatever decision you make. And I think sometimes like we so overwhelm ourselves with like we have to make the perfect decision,
Yeah.
and no decision is perfect. Like you're
Right.
gonna have things that come up that are, struggles to get over, and you have to like figure that out. When I was making the decision to move out, and I was like, okay, what do I actually like prioritize most, and what can kind of fall under the rug, and I'll handle that later. I had known moving in that I wasn't going to be able to wash my clothes there yet until like I get like a dryer and washer there, and I was like that's something that I'm okay with handling. Like I'm okay, like I visualized myself in the future hauling my clothes up and down these stairs, and I was like I'm fine with that because they're like moving out right now is something that I care about, and I like the place and all of that. And yeah, and I mean it's uncomfortable and it's not easy, and I don't particularly like it, but like that it was my choice.
And that's the benefit of understanding kind of the both sides of the coin, because it's like, okay, what are the positives, what are the negatives that are likely to happen, and am I willing to deal with those negatives? Mm-hmm. Okay, this is a choice you've made and you're happy with, even though there are some aspects of it you wish were a little bit different, and maybe someday you'll have a way to figure out to make it different.
Yeah. I think even like with life transitions, I think so often we like forget that when we're like striving for something better, like here on earth, like it's not going to be perfect. And one of the things that I've like realized was like hey, yes, I can aim for like higher goals and like transition and try to get better and be better, but ultimately, like whatever is on earth isn't going to be as fulfilling as what Jesus has laid out for us in heaven.
Right.
Yeah. And so like I've realized like I've needed to stop like chasing like perfection, so to speak. And I have had like realized that I have changed my life so much because I was homeschooled. I got to choose like that. And I went through so many like I just wouldn't finish things. Like certain courses, I'd be excited about them. And then I would get 50, 75% of the way down. I'm like, oh, this is boring. I'm going to drop it. And like that just became a pattern where it's like, of course, it's good to like kind of be able to move on from things if they're not working out for you. And, but like at least you've tried. At least you took the time to like push forward with it. And I think sometimes we need to realize like not everything is going to be easy. Like you are going to be uncomfortable and sometimes you might be anxious and like have fear, and we still need to push through and realize that that's like it's important to continue growing and it's going to be uncomfortable.
Well, and pushing through it is easier if we can push the fear away for a while and just say, you know what, this is just a caper. This is just something that we need to find a way to push through. Fear will block our ability to be creative. And so if we got to say, you know what, I don't have to be afraid of this. I just have to figure it out. We can set the fear aside, put it on a shelf if you want to use that term. Using an example, so when my husband and I got married when we were 19.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit unusual this day and age. But we moved then with that month to another state. So we not only got married and had to adjust to that, but we moved completely away from both sets of parents, which there's goods and bad to that. But we moved away, and I remember we were staying in a little strip hotel, not one of those motels that are, you're just on the side of the road. It's not like a hotel. It's a motel where all the doors face out. Anyway, So we were up in this motel, and it was a nice motel, but it was a motel, and we're looking for apartments. And so we were circling newspapers, believe it or not, we had newspapers. We were circling the ads in the newspaper, and we'd go out and we'd talk to people, and we looked at different apartments. And we found an apartment we liked. It was right across from the college. My husband was your grandpa was going to college down there. And so we found this really nice apartment right across from the campus. So we'd only need one car. I was going to be working. He was going to go to college. And we wanted to sign the lease, but we couldn't because we didn't have a local bank account.
Yeah.
And so she said, well, in order to sign the lease, you need to have a local bank. So we went over to the biggest bank in that city, and it's like, okay, we want a checking account from you guys, because we had one from our location. And they said, well, you can't get a checking account because you don't have an address.
That's like,
and so money wasn't things weren't as easy to go from place to place. Right now, money is just, it's you can hold your phone out and nobody cares. You've got a Apple Pay or whatever. But at that time, we went back to the hotel and we were like, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this work? And we didn't have parents to go rely on and stuff at that point. So I remember at that point, we were just like, no, we're got to figure this out. We're going to make this work somehow. And so we went back to the lady that was renting the apartment, and I said, hey, we need to get a bank account, but we can't get a bank account without an address. Would you mind if we use this address, even though we haven't signed a lease, if I give the bank this address to get our checking account, and we'll come back and we'll pay the deposit? And she said, yeah, that'll work.
Good. Yeah.
And so we somehow managed, and from that point on, everything was, I can't say it was perfectly smooth sailing, but it was like, okay, yes, we're pushing through this. We're going to make this work. We're going to make this move work for both of us.
Yeah.
And we did it together. And that, so I think it's really important to, like you said push through, and I like that phrase, because I think it's really important for people to realize that transitions are change, and change doesn't have to be scary all the time. It can be if we allow ourselves to dwell on the scary part of it, then our brain doesn't work in the creative part of our brain to come up with solutions as easily.
Okay, I really like that. I think that's really great, your last part. Like that, because you're not giving yourself time to actually like breathe.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We hope this empowers you to push through your transition. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.